My name is Landon, and today I'm going to be showing you how to change the coolant on a 2000 Chevrolet Tahoe with the 5.7 liter V8. This can apply also to 90s GM trucks or SUVs with the same engine, and that are the same body style. So first we're going to look at the owner's manual, and it could tell you what type of coolant to use, of the coolant, and that you should change it every 5 years or 150,000 miles. And then also that for my vehicle specifically, it shows the engine as the Vortec 5700 V8 with the VIN code being R, and without a rear heater it's 17.5 quarts or about 4 gallons, and then with the rear heater it's 20 quarts. And I don't have a rear heater, so therefore it's gonna be the 17.5 quarts. So that could tell you how much to buy at the parts store in order to do it properly. So first things first, there's gonna be a drain on the, you can't really see it, but there's gonna be a drain on the radiator towards the bottom around this area on the driver's side. And then there's gonna be 2 drains on the sides of the engine on the bottom on those parts. And that's how you're gonna drain the coolant. And then I'll get into how you refill the coolant. So I figured out that there is the drain is down. I don't know if you can see it. If I can move some wires, is down here. Nope, can't find it. But anyway, there we go. There's my socket on the end of the drain there, and I'm about to turn that to drain the radiator. And it's in a weird spot where you can't really find it very easily, but it's on the driver's side down at the bottom below the oil cooler lines. So there it is. Okay, so now I got the plug out and it is draining from the radiator down there, and I opened the cap of the radiator so that way it could relieve the air out of it and it could drain fully. So we'll let this drain, and then we'll get to draining the engine, and then I'll show you how to refill it. So then what you're going to want to do is tighten up that drain plug on the radiator down there, and then we could move on to draining the engine, and I'll show you where the drain plugs are on the engine. So we'll get my light. So on the engine, there's gonna be a drain plug right here, and then another one right there on the bottom of the engine here. And the drain plug over here is gonna have this knock sensor attached to it, so make sure to disconnect that, get that out of the way, and then you could start draining the coolant from your engine. After you've drained the coolant from the engine, you're going to want to make sure to reinstall your knock sensor. I'll show you that now. So you got your knock sensor here, and then you reinstall it onto the drain, which you can barely see, but reinstall it, on there. And make sure that your coolant drains are in place. And then you're going to want to start pouring coolant into your radiator here. So then what you want to do is set up your funnel like that, and then come over and get your coolant and start pouring it in. And then once you pour the coolant in, you gotta bleed the system by running it and getting it up to operating temperature, and then making sure that there's no bubbles in there, but I'll show that when I get to that. And once you've filled up your radiator, you're gonna want to look at it, make sure it's about to the top of the radiator. You can see the coolant there. And then you're gonna want to start the engine, get it up to temperature, and then make sure the bubbles come out. So okay, so I'm starting the engine. So then you're going to want to watch your temperature there. Make sure it gets up to its operating range. Most of the time it's 210, but mine runs a little colder in that middle mark between 100 and 210. And then you're going to want to watch the radiator for bubbles to come out. So far nothing, because it needs to warm up and then it'll get the air out, but yeah. So basically, once you get all the bubbles out of your cooling system, once you get it to go down and get more bubbles out, you keep adding coolant until you don't see any more coming out, and then you could just put your radiator cap back on, and then you're good to go. And then you could also top it off in the reservoir over there. And that's pretty much how you change the coolant in pretty much any engine, but specifically the 5.7 liter Chevrolet V8. Thank you.